Welcome to the 2021 Economic Depression and Preparation channel. I'm your host, Tony. Thank you for joining me on this Friday edition, July 30th, 2021. Well, by God's grace, we've made it to the end of the month and the end of another long week. And the economy is still in the same condition as we left it on Monday. Things are not looking good. We're going to be talking about consumer sentiment falling to its lowest levels ever in the month of July. Inflation is still rising, and we're going to be talking about a little bit touch on the the infrastructure bill, what's in it, and about the CDC's new change of guidelines and what does that mean for the economy and how a second lockdown possibly could affect this already fragile economy. So, guys, let's get right into it. I want to show you here, we have the U.S. consumer sentiment falls in July as inflation expectations hit 13-year high. Listen, this inflation, as we've already predicted before in previous videos, is going to 10% by the end of the year. And it's going to be here through 2024, through all of President Biden's first term. And it's just unbelievable. In the Federal Reserve Chairman Jerome Powell admitted that during his meeting that the inflation was high, but he said it was going to be transitory, quote unquote, or temporary, so to speak. But that's not what we're seeing out on the streets in terms of food, energy, gas, and critical supply shortages that many of you are experiencing when you go to the hardware store, for example, or other areas. So consumer sentiment fell to 81.2. from a reading of 85.5 in June. Economists had expected a reading of 80.5. So you can see things are really going down. Many of Americans, myself included, remain guarded about the general health of the economy, okay, because we know that inflation is creeping up. The value of our dollars is going down. It takes more dollars over the month to make it stretch, to make everything ends meet. And then we have the eviction moratorium coming tomorrow. That's coming up tomorrow. That expires. And President Biden says his hands is tied. He says up to Congress and the states to decide how are they going to extend it. New Jersey has extended theirs to September 30th. I know that. I know that California has extended their benefits. But with this amount of people that could be possibly out on the street within a month, because it takes a month for the landlords to, about 2 weeks for the landlords to go to the court, the probate courts and all of that, and get the papers, and the sheriff comes, and you know the deal. Works there generally. So it takes about a couple of weeks. So we're looking at probably sometime mid-August to beginning of September if some of these things come to true. I hope not for a lot of states, but there's only so many times they can extend it. They've extended the rental moratorium up at least the last 4 times, and I don't know if President Biden even said he doesn't have any way of extending it further. It's going to be up to the state governors and all of that and the Supreme Courts in those states to do that. So our prayers are up for those people. Our prayers are up for everyone involved, because it's not just rental people, it's homeowners too, and it's also the people that are paying rent. The rental renewal rates are going to go up because the landlords are going to try to make up for all of the lost rent or the rent that they weren't receiving for those paying people. The rents could go up by 10%, maybe 5 or 10%, and on the renewal for those who may be renewing in the fall or the winter or the spring. So key inflation indicator up 3.5% over the year, fastest gain since 1991. Those were the good years. One in 1991 when we had the surplus, when Bill Clinton was in there, they were bragging about the surplus, President Bill Clinton, the surplus of government money, and now all of that has been erased by the 2001 recession, the 2008 recession, and now here we are again with another, on the precipice of another recession, depression, basically. So basically, they're going to continue to print money. This is what the Federal Reserve meeting said on Wednesday. They're going to keep rates at zero. They're going to continue to print money and continue to buy back repo at $120 billion a month. Okay, but that's not going to help the economy. And this President Federal Reserve Chairman Jerome Powell already said that the economy depends on this virus recovery. And we know that we're taking steps backward. Now, guys, they're saying that the CDC has released guidance saying that everybody has to wear face masks again, regardless of if you got the vaccination or not. And for those of us who have got the vaccination, there's going to be, word is on the street, there's going to be a third booster development by Pfizer and Moderna and all these companies that you're going to take a yearly booster in addition to the 2 shots, plus who knows, a multitude of shots. We don't even know if the first 2 shots really work, because now you can still spread this pandemic related virus, okay, even if you've gotten the vaccine, you can still shed the vaccine. I mean, shed the virus off to people, regardless. And so this is just a bunch of confusion. Do you remember the good old days when they said 2 weeks, guys, to stop the spread? When Dr. Fauci came out, when this first started a year and a half ago, almost 2 years ago, and he said that 2 weeks to stop the spread, right? And everybody complied. Everybody went in lockdown. Everybody wore face masks, blah, blah, blah. Now we're almost 2 years into this crisis, and the CDC is contradicting itself. Keep saying that first they say the mask was useless, ineffective against stopping the virus. Then they said, oh, wait a minute, everybody wear a face mask. Now they're going back again and backtracking, saying that this Delta variant is even more dangerous and that the war has, quote unquote, changed. My question is, has the war even started? What about this economy? What about the things that's going on with this economy? And I think that's one of the reasons why we're going to be going back into a second lockdown. Not right now, but it will be toward the winter time, because you have to remember, folks, the job situation is not getting better. We've just seen that inflation has risen to almost 6%. Unemployment is at 5.7% and growing. U.S. sentiment has fallen because there's no more stimulus checks coming or anything like that, and it's just a really, really stressful and bad time. Now, I think many Americans too want to be compliant. With obviously a lot of us are taking our shots. We're trying to protect our elderly, our young people, our kids. Everybody's doing the right thing, but this is all about control. This is no longer about the virus, okay? And that's why I'm trying to get people to understand is that, yeah, they're going to come out with a variant every other week, and they're going to tell people that, this is what the shot is going to do and all that. But nobody knows the long-term effects of this. This virus is going to be here with us for at least the next 10 years or whatever, forever. Because just like the flu variant, you take a shot for the flu, right? We're all taking that. Every year there's a new strain of flu. The flu is with us. We haven't heard anything about flu rates. Interesting to see if flu rates increase or decrease with this economy coming up in the fall or winter, but no one's talked about any other disease but this corona. No one's talked about heart disease, cancer, stroke, hypertension, diabetes. No one's talked about those numbers. Those traditionally have been the top 10 killers of us Americans everywhere, but no one has talked about those numbers. So I'm interested to see what comes out. Pfizer says immunity drops to 83% within 4 months in people who got the shot. Folder bolstering the company's case for a booster. There it is right there. So you're going to be, for those of us who are taking the shot, we're going to be taking booster shots every year. And I want to make the distinction between the vaccine and immunization. The stuff that we took when we were kids, those are immunizations, meaning that if you got the chicken pox or measles or something like that, when you take that shot, you're immune from getting it again. A vaccine is not 100% effective. The rate drops. And that's just scientifically proven. And they tell you that. They say that it's not, but it does help prevent you from getting deathly sick, okay? So that's why I'll make that distinction. But this economy is definitely sick, okay? And all of these shots that they're giving the economy in terms of stimulus, that the Federal Reserve is giving in terms of stimulus and all that, it's not going to work. And that's why crime is going to go up. And they're going to be going to lockdowns more so because of the crime rate and not because of the Delta variant rate that you see here growing up in the South. And you notice how you notice how the Delta variant is growing in most of the states that are like Republican, or not Republican, but have heavy populations or more people that's apt in New York, Philadelphia, and it's growing mostly in the Northeast and the Southeast right here. Heavily populated Sun Belt states, Texas, all of that. They got it all covered because they know that when the economy breaks loose, the top 1% knows that when the economy breaks loose, they want to have security in place and everything in place and people, in place for when this thing goes down. Now, we don't know when. Nobody knows when, but this is what it's leading to. CDC says 164 million people are fully vaxxed. Okay, but we haven't gotten the herd immunity, obviously, and President Biden says he hadn't reached his goal of 70% of the adult population receiving one dose. So the $550 billion infrastructure bill is next. And guys, this amount has went down from, remember it was 1.9 trillion? Look how it's parlayed down to $550 billion. So this is going to pour federal money in the roads, bridges, passenger rails, drinking water, and wastewater systems. Awesome. We need that in this country. We're behind China. We're behind other countries. South Korea, Japan, they all have better infrastructure than the United States right now and newer infrastructure. So we need this. This is a blessing in disguise. So I'm thankful for that. The problem is that a lot of this money is going to be wasted between the states. $110 billion roads, bridges, and other major projects. $11 billion toward reducing car crash fatalities, safe streets for all. $39 billion public transit. We got $66 billion passenger and rate rail. They eliminate Amtrak's backlog, and $15 billion for electric vehicles. So that might be something to get into in the future. If you're looking for a job, learn coding. For young people, learn coding, automation, robotics. All that's going to be game changer in the next 5 to 10 years. So learn that, go to school for that, in the STEM fields, of course. And, if you're not in the STEM, then always you can learn to do some other skills as well, too, such as online business. So that's 2 things I want to give you in terms of preparation. And myself included, I've been trying to implement that and learn coding online through Udemy or various other free courses online. $17 billion for airports, $50 billion for water infrastructure, $55 billion for clean water, $65 billion for high-speed internet. Very great. Environmental cleanup, $21 billion. Power infrastructure, that's very important. $73 billion updated power infrastructure. So how are they going to pay for all of this? Well, this is going to be raise your taxes are going up too. That's how they're going to pay for it. They're not telling you that now, but that's how they're going to pay for it. That they're going to tax the rich, ultra super rich folks, those making above $400,000 a year at a rate of 30% or higher. This is what they did in the Great Depression. The problem with it is that we're not going to have enough money this time to fund everything because the Federal Reserve Bank is going to raise interest rates. Interest rates are going up to just 1 or 2%. Maximum 3%, but this will take place in the beginning of 2022. So by summer 2022, around May or June, they're going to have to raise interest rates because inflation will be at 10% or above by then. And they will see that it's not transitory, meaning the Federal Reserve Bank will see that it's not transitory. And that's when things are going to get absolutely disastrous because we're going to have people are going to realize that there's the supply shortage still going on. We have the trifecta. We have a supply shortage, we have a job shortage, and we have a this virus or pandemic that's controlling the businesses from saying, look, you can't come in here. Even if you have a mask, you can't come in here. Only so many people can go to such and such places. And you notice how this virus is affecting the critical infrastructure. I'm talking about grocery stores, banks, schools, hospitals, malls, and churches. Those are the critical infrastructure that the government wants control over when this economy busts loose. And this is exactly why the CDC and everybody's releasing these guidance and everything, because they know that companies are going to follow the CDC guidance, and the government is getting ready for when the economy drops for real and they switch everybody over to the digital money or whatever. There's going to be a brief period where there's going to be crime unbelievable, where you probably won't even want to go out your house like you do now. Because crime is going to be off the chain because people are going to realize that there's no more money in the system and blah, blah, blah. What you don't have now, you're not going to get. And it's just going to be a disaster. And so they're prepping for that right now. So, guys, continue to prepare. Continue to stock food, water, medicine, clothes, your security brass, all of that stuff. Because it's going to come a time when we're not going to be able to find this in America readily. And America that we know, the America that we know and love is slowly changing into a more, I wouldn't say communist or fascist, but more of a controlled America demolition. I got to be careful what I say, but you get the picture, okay? And this is global. This is worldwide. So whether you're in Europe, whether you're in Asia, Africa, it doesn't matter. This is the totalitarian system that we're moving towards. And it's going to be a total surveillance state and a total economy surveillance state. And that's what we're moving towards. Stay safe. Be blessed. Have a great weekend, guys. I'll talk to you very soon. Any questions or comments, leave them down below. Thank you for your support. Talk to you soon.